Okay guys, welcome. Hopefully you're just coming back from part one. We're going through some of the decks that I pull out for Yule time to really get myself into the spirit of Yule and giving and gratitude and bright sparkly giving attitude. So let me continue. I'm on tarot decks still, but I have, well, I do have a lot, so I gotta speed it up a little bit because I don't want this to be too long. The Dreaming Way Tarot. This deck is not a deck that I have used before. I just got this deck maybe a week and a half ago. There's one card stuck, isn't there? Yes, there is. So I have never used it for Yuletime work, but I think it'll work well. So I figured I'd show you a little. First of all, here's the backs, not just because it has green backs, but it's very kind of cheery and bright. And I thought about it for spring. I may bring it out again in spring, and we'll see which season it works best in. But here's the Fool, the Magician. I bet this would be good for past life work too. There's the High Priestess, because it's kind of young and reminds me of a children's book, you know. The Emperor, Hierophant, the Lovers, Chariot, here's the Hermit. I always love the Hermit card. That is my birth card. By the way, I know I always talk about Justice, but the Hermit is actually my birth card. And Death. So it's kind of a bright, happy deck, if you ask me. It might work better in spring, but I'm going to pull it out, I think partly because I just got it, but it seems like a deck that would put you in a good mood. So we'll see. We'll try it. I always love this deck for Yule. This is my Pagan Otherworlds deck. Again, one of my very favorite decks of all time. I have never broken the seal because I opened it from the bottom, and I keep the box separately. Actually, I put my cards in a bag. This is the best card stock you will ever feel. I don't know what it is, but it is. If you want this card stock, you need to get it quick, because if you even can still, I'm not sure. This is by Usi, U-U-S-I. They have apparently the German company that does this card stock has gone out of business, and they can't find this card stock anymore. So the ones that they have in stock now will be the last to ever have this card stock. They keep saying they found good card stock, and I assume that they have. I don't know, but this is my favorite of all card stocks of any deck I've ever owned. So if you want this deck, I suggest there's my Justice card. That might be one of my favorite ever Justice cards. I suggest you get it now. It's pricey. I'm not gonna lie. It's a pricey deck, but it is worth it 110%. So I adore this deck. This is a great worker and a beautiful deck, and the card stock is like it's hard, because if you rate everyone else's card stock from this, you'll be disappointed for the rest of your life, because it just is never going to happen again. Okay, Tarot Illuminati. This is another Ciro, no, is it? I don't want to say it's Ciro Marchetti. It's not, is it? It's not. I always get that confused because it looks like a Ciro Marchetti deck. It's bright, it's beautiful, it's got a good book to it if you order the book version. It is like royalty. First of all, it is gilded. This deck always reminds me of royalty. It's like a like when you get the good dishes out for company. That's what this deck reminds me of. It's a good reader. It follows the Rider-Waite system very well. So it's an easy transition. And the deck is just gorgeous. It's just bright and beautiful. Bright and beautiful. Here's my Justice. The Fool. Let's see. Here's the Six of Cups, which reminds me of you to to act more like a child, to look into past life situations, or that you are going to be greeted by a childhood friend that you haven't seen in a long time. Here's the Sun. Just a really beautiful deck. There's the Five of Cups, like the 3 spilled cups. Hold on. And then 2 behind them. I always think, turn around. Turn around, you'll see the 2 behind you. There's the 10 of Swords. So just a beautiful deck. And one that I like to be able to pull out. And again, it feels holiday to me because, you know, when I do my lights and put the tree up, the Yuletide tree up, and it's, you know, everything is like magic. Everything is magical and wonderful and pretty and bright, and so that's what I start thinking of when the holidays come. The Llewellyn, the original Llewellyn tarot. To me, again, I just got this deck this year, so I haven't had a chance to work with it at Yule. But as soon as I pulled it out and saw it, it's got a great book. I knew this was going to be a great Yule deck. Here's the backs. This is the old Llewellyn cardstock. I want to... I keep going back and forth. I may trim the borders, except in some ways I kind of like the borders, but it's kind of thick. It's a thicker deck. But again, it's a bright deck. Here's Caradwyn, the High Priestess. It reminds me a little bit of Tarot of the Old Path. It's kind of Arthur and the Round Table. Here's Taliesin, the Hierophant. So Merlin is in here. The Mirrodwin is the Hermit. So if you know anything about Avalon or Avalon tradition, what the hell is that? Something just fell from my ceiling. It looks like a big clump of hair. That's disgusting. The Wheel of Fortune is Arianrod. There's a lot of the Avalonian tradition here. The Justice card is the Lady of the Fountain. And I adore Arthurian lore and the Avalon tradition. Here's Death, who is Arwen. What a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous death card. Love. Keeper of the Well is Temperance. Stunning. It's just beautiful. It's a great deck. And I know it's going to work really well for Yule times. Love it. Okay, I'm not going to put all these away or I will never get through this. Okay. 2 more after this tarot decks, and then we'll go through quickly the Oracle. Legacy of the Divine. This is another Ciro Marchetti deck. Ciro Marchetti, however you say it. Again, it's got a great big book. No pictures in the book, but it's a good book. Supposedly, I've never read it. Again, it's not gilded. I think some of Ciro's decks you can get gilded, but these ones are not. Again, though, very good with keeping in with the Rider-Waite tradition. So it's easily recognizable. You can look at this and go, oh, yes, that is the, Seven of Wands. That is, here's the Two of Cups. Beautiful art to it. Here's the Ten of Cups. The doggy and the kitty and the cups all around. What a cheerful home. It's great, great, great. Here's the Two of Swords. What a great card. Love that. Here's the Three of Swords. One of the great Three of Swords. This is, Three of Swords, what do you always see? The swords going through the heart. This one is the tear. The tear going through the heart, breaking the heart up. Isn't that beautiful? What a great idea for the Three of Swords. Here's your Four of Swords, rest. Stunning. These cards are beautiful, and it's, I don't get to appreciate them because you kind of forget what they're doing when you put them away. When you have so many decks, it is hard. That's partly why I like to kind of rotate my decks for the season. Here's the Fool. Again, nice, bright, beautiful. With the dog hanging on. Just so pretty. Here's the Empress. Lovers. Hermit. Just gorgeous. There's my Justice. Hanged Man. And Death. Great Death card. Beauteous, beauteous. Gotta love it. So that's a good deck for the holidays. Pull this one out. See, I obviously used this deck for Yule. This is a deck, again, that I got off of Kickstarter, but it should still be, I actually got a reading cloth with it that I only use with this deck, so I don't use it very much because I haven't had a chance to pull this deck out very much. This deck is called, oh, I see it. Yeah, I'm going to need the box. Hold on one second. Okay, it is called Madame Clara. It is the second edition of her Mysteries, the Tarot. No, it's not called that. It's like called Madame Clara's Tarot deck or something like that. She doesn't make it easy, does she? And I got, because I did Kickstarter, I got the bag and I got this gorgeous reading cloth with it, which is really beautiful. I think I used it once, but it is gorgeous. I feel kind of bad that I haven't really used it. But this is not a deck that I pull out for everyday use, so. The interesting thing is this deck, some decks have keywords on it, and this deck, I actually liked most of the keywords. I'm going to need my glasses though because it's written in very small print. And there's a key little, not just a key word, there's a key phrase, and there's a key phrase for reversals. So if you're someone who wants to start learning reversals, this would be a good deck because it kind of gives you hints to it. So here we have the Six of Pentacles, and see the ribbon at the bottom there? there's an upright and a reversed meaning. So the upright says, your generosity pays off in the lives that you touch. And if it's reversed, it says, giver, be wary of the receiver who gives nothing in return. So and cardstock is really good. Really good. It's almost linen. I don't know if you can ever see, but no way. The camera will never do that, but it's almost a linen feel. And so it's really good. Here's strength. Here's the back, the eye, which is reversible. Strength says, draw upon your inner strength to master your world. Reversed says, a moment of weakness calls you to rediscover your strong self. So it's a good deck for personal growth and for learning, as far as I'm concerned. I am not a big fan of reversals, but I do, when I use this deck, first of all, I only use this deck for my own personal stuff, because I don't want to be trying to, when you're trying to read this small print, it looks like you don't know what you're doing, for one thing. And it's, when I read for other people, I read more intuitively. So it's a little bit different kind of feel. Here's the Hanged Man. How are we doing? 16. Okay. The Hanged Man, upright. No, wait. Yeah, upright, which is him upside down. Confusing. Would be take pause to see things from a whole new perspective. And reversed would be dreams long on hold will reawaken with new possibilities. So, again, cool. I love it. Let's look at all right, High Priestess. It's got like an old-fashioned kind of feel to it. I like it. Trust your inner voice and seek answers in your dreams. And reversed says, confusion and untruths will cloud your thoughts and inner vision. So, I just really like, it's an interesting deck. It's a deck that, you know, you can cheat a little bit when you're learning, which is good. And you certainly can, if you already know reversals, if you already know the Rider-Waite system, you don't have to read them. I probably could use this deck with clients. I'm just so ADD that if I were to try to lay the card down and not read it, and the client was like, oh look, it says something, what does that say? And picks it up to read it and stuff, it would drive me, I would then have to read it too, and it would slow me down, I think. And it's like a distraction when you're trying to read for someone else. That's all I mean. Here's Death. One door closes so another may open, so let go and move on. Reversed, baggage from the past may interfere with your new beginning. So again, I really like this deck. It's got a great color scheme. It's a little bit quirky. It's a different feel. It's a good deck, and I think it's going to be a good deck for Yule. Again, this, I believe, yeah, I got this one this year too, so this is not a deck that I have worked with Yule in the past, but here's the Fool. All right, so another one down. Hang on. Okay, last tarot deck, and then we'll go into the oracles. This one is called the Guardian Tarot. Now, this deck I use from now until spring. This deck is it's one of my favorite decks. It's a great shadow work deck. It's a great feel-good deck. This is a really special deck. Part of that for me is that I adore trees. I connect to trees very easily and very well. So, and these trees are like guardian spirits to me. Some people, and I will warn you ahead of time, some people think they're creepy looking. I just adore them. I just adore them. Comes with a little book which has the meanings and a little picture on them and stuff. Hard box. There's the High Priestess. The backs. Here's the Three of Swords. So this is the heartache card. Letting go, allowing them to fly. It's just a beautiful deck. A Hermit. There's the Two of Swords. They're so pretty to me, but I know some people think they're creepy. That's okay. I'm kind of creepy sometimes too, so I can see that. There's the Emperor. Here's the Eight of Pence. So working on your craft. Strength. Here's the Three of Cups. The Lovers. This is the one my husband painted or based his painting off of. Isn't that beautiful? It's just gorgeous. Hold on, I'll see if I can swing the camera around so you can see it. It's that one. All the way on the end. See that? Yep. So this deck is just, every time, I don't know if you can feel the energy on your side, but every time I pull this deck out, it's like, okay. It's kind of calming for me. I see it and I immediately am at peace. Their ability to see inside of you makes it, here's the Ten of Swords. Gorgeous. It just, to me, is very calming. Here's Death. And I don't know if it's just because it's trees, I don't know, but I really adore this deck. One more that sticks out to me. Let's see. Oh, here you go. Here's the Star. Love it. Can't help it. I love it. Okay. Next. So I'm going to show you an oracle deck and then go back to a tarot deck real quick. But this is the Soul Trees Self-Discovery cards. When I pull out the Guardian Tarot, which I just showed, I pull these out too. It's like they were made for each other. Different artists, but very similar feels. Because of the trees. I just love the trees. Look at Overburden. These you can get on Etsy. Mystical. Support. Reawaken. Nourishment. Courage. out in that ledge. Transform. Boundaries. Just welcome. Just beautiful. Sage. So and this is the back of the decks. I love these decks, or this deck, and I work with them every time I pull the Guardian Tarot out. They just have decided to be together. They work together very well. Obviously, they're very similar, and they just do. They just work together. So the next tarot deck I want to show you is, I don't work with Marseille decks very much, but this deck I pull out for Yule time, or I plan on. This is the first year I've had it, but I'm pulling it out for Yule time, and I thought as soon as I opened this deck in February, I got this deck last February, and I thought, oh, it would have been great for Yule. I call it my hooker deck, and I will show you why. This is the Visconti. This is the it's a specific edition, I think, the Visconti Tarot, and I think it's like called gold or something. Maybe not, but you can tell, see the gold foil on the front? That is this version, the Visconti Tarot, and it's this gold version. I call it my hooker deck because it's all hookered up. It is gorgeous. The cardstock is gorgeous. Now, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I did. I edged it in black. It's not edged, gilded in gold, which I was surprised, but it looks great in black too. It is, because it's a Marseille deck, it is a pip deck, so keep that in mind. But it is, look at the gold, all the gold. It's so flashy that I wouldn't use it any other time except for Yule. I used it a couple times when I bought it, and then I put it away for Yule because this gold foil is gorgeous, but it is definitely a flashy hooker deck. I love my hooker deck, but I only use it around this time. So, it is gorgeous. There's so much gold on this deck. Here's the Hierophant. It is flashy and beautiful, and here's the Magician. So if you know the Visconti Tarot at all, you will recognize all of these characters on here. It's just, they're buffed up a little bit. They're hookered up. Out for a night on the town. Here's a cup. Even the cups, look at the cups flash with gold. So here's the Hanged Man. Beautiful hooker deck. Love it. Trying to find a couple different cards here. Here's Temperance. It's just a beautiful deck. Here's the Sun. So pretty. So, that's my hooker deck, and I will be using it until Yule. Yay! Oh, hold on. Okay. So the rest are Oracle, and it's funny, I don't have nearly, I thought I pulled out more Oracle decks, but I did not. So it's funny, I just didn't feel the Oracle as much. I am going to use the Spirit Animal from Clara and Reed with my favorite girl there, Jenna Della Grottaglia. I am going to use the Illustrated Herbiaria and two others. Two that are similar to each other, but the Wisdom Keepers. God, this deck is... I will show a few cards here just because I haven't shown them in a little while, and these cards are gorgeous. This is a very soulful deck. So here's the back. They're huge oracle cards. And just the faces, they'll look at imagination, delight, integrity, leadership, transmutation. It's like it's peering into their souls, aspiration. And the guidebook is wonderful. They give a story for each of these characters, freedom, and they're beautiful stories. So I do highly recommend this deck as a feel-good, pick you up, make you smile. It is a great deck. And the last one, like I said, is very similar to this. I think I got the last one before this one, because I might not have gotten it, but I like them for different reasons. So this is the Soulful Woman deck. My creative power. And so these ones on the card themselves, they have a little bit to go on the card themselves, and they do too. Intuition, you know what intuition is. But so this says, my creative power. As I invest in my own creative potential, I experience my female creative genius. So obviously this is a very feminine deck though, so if you want to connect with your feminine, it's awesome. If you are in a male-oriented place right now, this might not be the best deck to pull. But it is beautiful. The messages are great. They're right on. Here we go. Oh, this is one of my favorite cards of the whole deck. Shining Bright. It says, I shine my light and allow my creative power to burn bright. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love-based reality. I am soul nurtured when I surround myself with friends and family who support a love-based reality. Igniting my joy. Joyful. We've talked about joyful. Attuning to the highest good in myself and others ignites my natural joy. And soul's truth. I listen to my soul's simple truths and allow my life to unfold naturally. So really a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful